Cheers. So, like, learning about the tradition of the instrument which you gave, it was, and its association with being kind of like almost like similar to like in jazz comping in a way. This kind of like a double bass roll in a jazz trio or something, where it's played pits and it's doing this kind of this rhythmic pattern. And you obviously proposed for me to write a solo a piece for this instrument, and so thinking kind of also about your research of implementing keroncong technique into Western cello and Western cello technique into keroncong, I figured, well, this hasn't, to my knowledge anyway, this hasn't been bowed. So it was kind of using it was implementing Western bowing techniques onto keroncong cello. There was a brief idea, I think, at one point, kind of mimic the keroncong part and actually write for a group linked to the keroncong. And there was also an idea to maybe pair a keroncong with a keyboard instrument. But there was I think we had a workshop in December, and then it was like hearing the sound of it being bowed alone was enough. But the earlier idea was to have like a small keroncong ensemble doing a kind of a keroncong. But what kind of dissuaded me from that idea was more, well, this is a tradition. It takes a lifetime to learn. It's like if any Western composer just takes a raga scale and goes, I've mastered Indian classical music. I didn't want to do that. So the justification was I'm using an Eastern instrument and an Eastern instrument with a Western technique, and maybe that is disrespectful. It's like, if someone plays a sitar and doesn't sit in the correct way, it is deemed disrespectful. But you yourself is Indonesian, and your research is linked to this, and you've had some experience in this, and your research was kind of discovering the instrument more and trying to learn it yourself. It was going, you can do this keroncong, or you can kind of open the opportunity up to any composer to work with it, but in a Western way, in a more of a research purpose in a way. I would say. It was a funny one because it was done. Unlike most pieces I've written over the course of my masters, most of them were kind of done like time A to time B. So I was like, okay, I finish a piece, I start a new piece, and then maybe 2, 3, 4 months later it's finished, and then I move on to the next piece. This piece was began around December last year and was completed in May. And there were other pieces written over that time. This piece was kind of done in the background for a few months, and it was more kind of finding techniques and working out kind of the fundamentals of how maybe the beginning. It was more kind of working out the opening actually, because it took a while to. That wasn't the end order or result, but that was quite eye-opening, I think, for me, because most of the pieces that year I've been very rigid with kind of the predetermined stuff, and in that process, because we had so many workshops, it was at a point where I was like, okay, actually this is like do this bit twice and then see, and then we also did timing, kind of saw how it worked just listening to it without a score. How you perceive it as an audience member. That was an important step for this piece actually. I think this piece, it's not so much about the methodology, it's more the collaboration and the end results. Actually, it's not so much, arguably process pieces are very much about the process, and a tiny percentage is the results. But with this piece, it was because there was this like 5-6 months of time, and over time it gave us an opportunity to really maybe one session we actually neither of us have an idea how to move forward with the piece, which I think happened once or twice. Collaboratively, there was actually a lot, because there was a larger time frame and we didn't have a pressure to force anything. It was a lot more organic and actually a better process and better results. Thanks again. I mean, I'll see you tomorrow. I mean, because I think they're gonna.